Jennifer here from Belladonna's Botanicals, and today I want to talk about something that comes up frequently. I've probably touched upon this in other videos, but I wanted to make a standalone video about this. And this is on the subject of practitioners and whatnot who claim guaranteed bulletproof magical results, whether it be from products, whether it be from divination, spells, rituals, any kind of service, whether it be like energy work, whatnot. Now, I'm going to say this, and and this applies to me as well because I don't make guarantees. This is 100% bullshit. No matter who it comes from. If people are guaranteeing results on their work, on anything magical, they are either completely like high on their own BS and the ego that you're dealing with there. At that point, yeah, have fun with that. Why am I saying this is bullshit? There's plenty of people out there that claim, bulletproof, magical results that, not this can, or this can help, or this might help, or this is used for. It's like guaranteed to whatever, the intention is. And I'm sorry, that's BS. And I would honestly advise, like, if you are seeking people out, if you're looking for products, services, any of that stuff, and you stumble across that like 100% guaranteed results, turn the other way, and find someone else. I would not work. If I saw that, to me, that would be a red flag. So now, why is that, Jen? Well, let me tell you. So when it comes to any type of magic, spell work, it does not matter on the type of magic you are practicing. It doesn't matter the tradition. It doesn't matter if you are the super mega ultra high priestess of whatever. There are no guaranteed results when it comes to doing any kind of magic, spell work, ritual work, from the fluffy bunny, intentions and manifestation to, the deepest, darkest of magics. There really are no guarantees. And that comes down to the fact that I don't care what level of psychic medium and mind reader you claim to be, there are always going to be unknowable factors when it comes to how a product is going to work, how a spell is going to work, how the ritual is going to work, and how divination is going to work for that particular thing. And now what I'm intimating here is a couple things. So some people are naturally curse resistant or have very strong wills that are not going to be manipulated. And they will not be affected by your magic and spells and all that. You can petition every known entity in the universe. It's not going to do anything. So now there are some, I was just reading about this the other night. I don't know a whole lot about it, but there are some astrological things that will indicate sometimes these type of things. But it's not a foolproof method. So some people are going to be naturally resistant to, and that might even be, they might be naturally resistant to, healing work or, like Reiki or any of that stuff. So it's not to say magic doesn't work, or this product doesn't work, or the spell doesn't work. There's just other factors to take into consideration. And sometimes people, like I said, will have some natural resistances to things. And some people might be really freaking easy to just steamroll right over because they are weak-willed, for lack of a better explanation. So it doesn't mean that magic, whether you're performing it yourself or you've hired someone, doesn't work. It's just that it just doesn't break through their free will. Now, if someone is claiming 100% guaranteed results, you can best bet yourself they are going to find a way to, talk them, make excuses and whatnot as to why this didn't work, or they'll claim it worked when it really didn't. So it's something to take into consideration. And I am very ethical in what I do. So if someone is coming to me for something, I'm like, I will be frank with you. I'll be like, I don't think this is going to work, or you might need to shift your approach on this. Look at what your actual intentions are and working towards that in a different way. And it's not a matter of, well, I'll just, go down the phone list of all the different entities I work with until one gets it to work. I mean, you might just keep working your way through things to find out it doesn't work. At what point do you move on, change your focus, or give up on that particular thing? There are other mundane factors that will affect the magic, in that unknowable or adding extra consideration. So you want to get your ex back. Oh, surprise plot twist, he's married. So, okay, now not only do you have to break the will of your ex, now you have to factor into account the person they're married to. And if you don't know anything about that person, again, it might not work. You've got an extra added layer of things to break through. So if someone's guaranteeing results, again, they're not taking that into consideration, and probably are so full of themselves that, they think they can and are selling it to you as such. And, especially in this day and age with, I'll talk about this more at the end, but with all the scammers and stuff out there, you really need to distinguish yourself from that. And to me, someone guaranteeing results, or like sliding into my DMs, or commenting on something, oh, I love your energy, and my guides tell me, and the spirits are this, and I'm like, honey, you ain't telling me nothing I can't find out for myself. And I would never reach out to someone. Like, I'm lucky if I answer my actual email I get. I'm not going to cold call message people. At this point, it is very well known that there are so many fraudulent accounts that people start up. Like, look, I mean, I've got my business accounts. I only have one business Instagram. I'm not going to create, unless for some reason my main Instagram gets deleted or something, I'm not creating extra work for myself by making, a whole bunch of extra accounts. So if anyone's messaging you from that stuff, buyer beware. I mean, if you fall for it, that's on you, because this is very well known at this point that people do this stuff. So that being said, your intention is also going to pepper how that magic works. And you have to take into one account here, because attached to this is your guides, your ancestors, any spirits you work with. They may have an influence on that stuff. They may be seeing the big picture that you are so myopically like, I need this thing, and I need this, only this thing, and I'm not going to look at any other things because this is the object that I need. And you obsess and focus on that. And it might be a matter of the spirits going, are you sure this is the thing? Because this thing looks even better, So there is going to be influence there. Like, and because sometimes, your guides and ancestors and deities are doing nothing but saving you from yourself. Hi, been there plenty of times. So that's just kind of the first level of looking at all of the extraneous things that you haven't thought about. Because when it comes to spell work, like, sometimes you have to be really detail oriented. And I mean, like, in the point of, like, take a random, like, boilerplate legal document and look at all of those little things that they've accounted for in every single bullet point. and everything in the 100-page document, because you've anticipated everything that could possibly happen in that context. We don't do that as much with magic. We just go, I want to get my X back, boom, 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 and you do your magic. And you're not thinking about, okay, well, now looking at all those things and breaking out all the subpoints and whatnot. So a big thing a lot of times with spell work, timing. And I've done videos on this before. I have one in the Jennifer's Insights on divine timing. I've talked about it. Yeah, I've had things work like within half an hour, and I've had things take months, and I've had things never work. Or realizing months into the work that, I need to really shift the way I am doing this, or my approach to this, or I haven't really written up that legal contract in a way. Now, some people do that with like pacts, but even that is a little more, obviously not as intensive. But you really want to like look at the timing. So, and sometimes, when you're looking at spell work, I mean, I'll admit this, I am not one that's always going to be following lunar cycles and planetary stuff and other astrological things. Like, I don't know, moon is in Libra right now, and I think it's a full moon. So sure, I could do something around that. But, the timing on something might not be right. For reasons that might not be really evident to you just, sitting down. Because sometimes for me, like I'm busy, doing all this stuff. So it's like sometimes like I have a log of things I need to do that I just have not had the time to do yet. So, it's the timing of it really can have an impact on it. If you're trying to, I'm trying to think of a good example to put here. It's sometimes if you don't have access to things, there's just timeline things that are going to be hard to quantify. And you're often going to sometimes hit your head up against, a wrought iron clock, in trying to get something done that just is not going to happen. So divine timing is everything. And, if you're running into issues, you can always look at other things that might be going on planetary wise, astrologically, on the lunar cycles, all of that. Is it Mercury in retrograde? Maybe things like that can impact. So while you might want to do your, reconciliation spell with your ex who you had a fight with, but oh, surprise plot twist, it's Mercury retrograde, which notoriously sucks up all the communication stuff. So that might not be the best time. Now, you might have the urgency of, oh my God, I need to do this right now, but the timing may be off. And that's something to take into consideration. And if someone is guaranteeing 100% bulletproof results and whatnot, they're not taking into effect all of that mundane stuff and timing, which tells me that probably either, they're just doing some kind of BS marketing speak, or they believe their own BS, or they really just shouldn't be doing it because they don't really know what they're doing. Because if you aren't, at least on some fundamental level, keyed into the fact that mundane stuff happens and sometimes can be challenging to work around, and divine timing, which no one has control over. So, one other thing, and I think I've mentioned this before too, is especially this is pertinent if you are working with specific deities, spirits, demons, angels, whatever, is that sometimes what you want is petty and reactionary because your butt hurt over something very stupid and human ego oriented. I'm not judging. I've been there many times myself. It's just that, the spirits you're working with may not oblige because they look at this and just be like, whatever. So just because you ask, even if you have a great working relationship with that spirit, it still might not work. Lucifer ain't my daddy Warbucks. You know, I can ask Lucifer for every possible thing. I have a great working relationship with Lucifer. Doesn't mean Lucifer is just going to hand me the keys to the kingdom and give me every single thing I want because I asked nicely for it. It's not how it works. So now you might be asking yourself at this point in the video, well, if you can't guarantee results, then why do magic in the first place? Or why I think it really depends on your intentions, and how specific you are with that. Because I use money magic and love magic a lot just because they're popular. Well, it's like, well, I want to have more money. I want to have abundance. Okay, that's a start, but how? How are you going to how is this money going to come to you? Because it's very unlikely that just sitting here right now that $1 million is going to fall into my lap. Like, it'd be nice, but highly unlikely. So that said, what are the things we need to do on the money magic spectrum to make that money manifest? It might be the mundane stuff too of I need a new job, or I need to ask my boss for a raise at work, or any number of things. But sometimes you have to do those things. Now you can tailor your spell work. Now I'm applying for jobs, maybe doing a little bit of glamour magic. So, your resume gets to the top of the pile and magically, is so much more compelling than all of the others. And that you look like the ideal candidate for the job. That is a very specifically targeted approach to work towards that intention. Just, I want to find a new job. Okay, again, how are you going to do that? It's not just, lighting a candle, and you actually have to apply for some jobs on the mundane level. And, any number of things you can do there. So your intentions are key, and having really clear, concise, well thought out intentions. And that can really impact curse work, because I find curse work to be very hit or miss. And a lot of times, especially if the witch war of it all, especially if you're doing stuff to another practitioner and vice versa, you're probably not doing as much as you think you are. But sometimes when we look, like, I've changed my perspective on curse work a lot in the past year. It's not that I don't do it. It's the intentionality of it is I take a much different approach to it now. Whereas I'm like, okay, so I'm just going to use an example. I have an annoying neighbor. I want to get rid of my annoying neighbor. Not right now. I don't have an annoying neighbor. I live in a nice place now. But when I lived in Philadelphia, yes, that was a consistent problem. So, I mean, I could just curse them so something bad happens to them, so they, fuck off by, question mark means. But let's look at it from a logical perspective. Now, you have the shit happens of it all, but unless you're specifying something specific to happen to them, like, I want my annoying neighbor to leave. So maybe what I need to do versus cursing them is open up opportunities for them to move. Maybe they get another job out of state. Maybe they meet someone across the country and fall in love and move to California. That seems to be a much more targeted approach. Now, it might be hard to really lock onto that intention of doing something theoretically good for the person you are cursing, but at the same time, you are working to manifest your goals. If your goal is for that person to just get a move and leave and you never have to deal with them again, if you're cursing them, they're more likely to be stuck in place. They're going to have so many bad things happen that they can't move, that there's, they can't move on from that. Now, sure, you could do something to have them evicted or whatever that might, solve the problem. But if you really want to get them out, sometimes you have to go for looking at maybe not the most logical chain of actions, but thinking about it in those terms really shifts the energy of it, and it's going to change your energy and all of that too, because when you have that hostile kind of cursing energy, it kind of affects other things too. So that's something to consider. The next would be allowing things to unfold over time because, and this goes into the next one, patience is a most annoying virtue. When I do something, I want to see results right now. I am not immune to this. I am not known for being the most patient person. Most of my rituals end with me screaming at my candles to just finish fucking burning already. I can, well, that's happened sometimes. I'm like, I just want to go to bed. But some things do happen over time. Like it's especially if you're looking at big picture things. So I want to meet my soulmate and get married and live happily ever after. Okay, well, so that's not all going to happen on one day. So, you have to do the, whatever love drawing, attraction stuff to bring that person, to you, or to be in a space in which you could meet someone. Because again, I'm not going to meet anyone hanging out on my sofa in my living room. So if I really want to meet someone, I have to be doing stuff that would foster that. So, and those things might happen over time. You're going to meet the person. Okay. You date, you fall in love, you get engaged, you get married. There's a process to this. So and I'm just using that as an example. Think about things unfolding over time. So, like, okay, I want, whatever. I want 100,000 YouTube subscribers. Well, chances are I'm not going to wake up tomorrow with 100,000 YouTube subscribers. What do I need to do in order to do that, knowing that it's probably going to take some time? And again, if you are working with any type of spirits, they have no concept of time. So, again, that's something you want to put into your spell work is I need X amount of money by, or I want my revenue to increase by $10,000 for the month of April by April 30th. So some of it's just adding little specificities to the work that you're doing. Again, if you're guaranteeing results, you're glossing over a lot of these things to take into consideration. And I make a lot of these videos because sometimes I wish I wish I knew some of the stuff before, booking a $2,000 ritual with some crackpot, um, live and learn. So along with allowing for things to unfold over time, results may vary. You might get part of the request, but not all, or you might get little breadcrumbs of it over a period of time. So that's another thing that you want to look at. So if you're guaranteeing results, I don't think you're taking these into consideration. And at least to take them into consideration is a modicum of due diligence. And lastly, on that amount, if you're doing any spell work or you're hiring someone or you're trying to do something, ask advice from others, other practitioners. There's plenty of forums, Reddit, Twitter, Facebook groups, all that stuff where you can ask these questions and people will give you maybe not the best answers known to mankind, but I mean, if you have any trusted sources, by all means. You can also ask your guides and your spirits. The only thing there sometimes is you might run into a little bit of ego projection, because I've run into that myself, not pointing fingers here and talking from my soapbox that, I've not done any of these things myself. I have a lot. So asking advice, because sometimes that you get stuck in doing something one way for so long that sometimes it's hard to break out of that. So when I work in communion with, my spirit guides, the entities I work with, sometimes I will meditate on, like, I will ruminate on, okay, like, I need to do this. What I'm doing works, but it's not to the level that I want. So I need to kick this up a notch. So how do I do that? So, and I've gotten plenty of ideas that way, or talking to other people. But sometimes, and some things just are not possible. Um, like I'll use for example, like I know there are books out there. I'm not really into it. I know there's plenty of books out there on werewolf magic. Can I make you a potion to literally turn you into a like American Werewolf in London kind of werewolf? No. That I would be willing to bet that does not exist. Now, if you're looking at something symbolic, metaphorical to, awaken the metaphorical symbolic werewolf within and doing things around that, sure, great. that, that that's a legitimate approach. When I say to you, no, I can't make you a potion, and I'm not going to guarantee you results on something that I know will not under any circumstance turn you into a werewolf in a literal physical sense. On the astral, sure. If you're working like solely in the astral realm and doing that sort of thing, hey, be the biggest, baddest werewolf you want. But, it's symbolic of, you look at metaphors, symbolism, and it's not always literal. So, not on a tangent there, but the next two things I want to add here of how to approach this is it's okay to go back to the drawing board and find a new approach to whatever it is you're trying to achieve. I do that all the time. I'm like, okay, I did this and I started to see some results, but they tapered. So now I'm going to kind of refigure it. Or this thing came up, or I have this new opportunity. So I'm going to pivot and focus on that and retool what I'm doing. Because, like, I think I've used this example before. Like, most of my money magic, I was focusing on financial stability. Okay, I got to that point, and also to relieve the debt load that I had, and not for nothing, I've had over $100,000 in debt written off. Not debt that I paid off, written off. And I paid off some of this was mundane, or I manifested the money or the things to pay off other credit cards and things like that. I mean, I sold my house, so now I don't have house debt. So yeah, my debt is pretty manageable at this point. So from, taking into account my mortgage, student loans, credit cards, cars, all that stuff, but when I was over $200,000 in debt, I'm now down to like 30,000. And that's mostly my car lease and a few credit cards, business and personal. So what I had to do here was pivot because I needed to change my approach. And some of that is taking mundane things into account. It's like, okay, well, let's see how we're doing here. We've reached the financial stability. Well, now we got to start really putting money away every month for our, quarterly tax estimates. And okay, so now that we're doing that, can we manage? Do we make enough money to put that money away so we're not owing $10,000 every year in taxes? I'm pretty sure that's what we got for last year, but I knew that. So, because I kind of diverted everything to moving, so I knew I was kind of screwing myself, but we'll get there. I completely forgot what I was talking about. So, what I'm trying to do now that I've gotten through the financial stability and paying off debt is moving towards financial freedom. I don't want to, I'm not trying to become the next, Oprah here. I just want to live comfortably and not have to worry about the fuck shit of something going wrong and me being homeless in a month. Or maybe not a month, but you know what I'm saying. Like, I just want to be able to afford to take care of my medical expenses because, having an autoimmune disorder, chronic pain, being chronically ill, there's a lot of doctor's appointments, a lot of medications, a lot of trials and error, and lots of testing. So I'm like, yay, tomorrow I get to get an ultrasound of my hands. I've never had one of those before, and apparently only doctors can do them. So I've been waiting for this since the beginning of January. So that said, how I'm refocusing my money magic now is because I don't want to ever have to do money magic on a regular basis again. I don't want to have to worry about manifesting all this stuff. I want it to get to a point, it's a well-oiled machine and everything is fine. And I don't have to keep, doing, emergency spell work because, oh crap, my rent's due and shit, I just had, to get my car taken care of or something. And tied into that of looking for a new approach to the work that you're doing, because sometimes we get just stuck and, you kind of need to get unstuck there. And this one, and I just want to put this in here because I have to repeat it a lot. It's okay to make modifications as necessary, substituting any symbolic element that isn't, by substituting things, it isn't going to make your spell not work. Your money oil isn't going to not work because you didn't put cinnamon in it. There are plenty of other correspondences you can put in there that will do the same thing. It's not going to. Or if X tradition says this oil needs these three herbs, these three essential oils, and these three things, and you need to make it on, the waxing gibbous moon when it's in Gemini or something. Some of it is mind over matter. If you think that not doing it exactly how it's in a book is going to make it not work, congratulations, it's not going to work. It's kind of like a watched pot never boils. Your mindset, you have to approach your magic like it's done. Like, I have this. So you have to approach it like you've already have that thing. And not that you're desperate for that thing, not that you want that thing more than anything else. Like, I have this thing. You know what? If I don't get this thing, whatever, I'll just figure something else out. Like, you kind of, your mindset for that type of spell work really does play a huge role because magic is very mental. So I'm not talking mental in like crazy. It's a lot of expansive consciousness and I won't say brain power, I guess, but I see so many people get struggle with this and trip over their own feet. And that's why it's worth repeating. Making modifications to a spell isn't going to make it not work. It's more likely to not work if you're forcing yourself to do something that is beyond your capabilities. Like, yeah, I might, some spells call for, casting a full, elemental circle and stuff like that. Sometimes, depending on what's going on with my body, because, I have a lot of pain from inflammation and that causes mobility issues. And well, pain that doesn't really, I don't get a lot of relief from the pain with anything I'm taking for it. I have some feelings on that, but that is a story for another day. I can't always do that. Is my spell gonna not work because I set up the elemental circle on my altar as opposed to, the full way around my ritual space? I don't think it's gonna impact it that much. I'm allergic to certain things, do I want to torture myself by putting something I am very allergic to in a product, and every time I make that product, it gives me an allergic reaction. No, I'm going to take that thing out of that product, or I'm not going to use it in my spell work. So it's okay to do this. Like being so rigid and thinking it's not going to work because it's not the original recipe, or it's not, according to this tradition, or this book, this author says these things, and this one says that. And if you are sitting there thinking your thing isn't going to work because you used a pink rose petal instead of a red rose petal, it's not going to work. It really is not going to work because you just made it not work by your mindset. Because moving on, I completely lost my train of thought on that last thing I was going to say. So we're just going to move into the last one, and maybe it'll come back. The last one I touched upon briefly towards the beginning of the video. There are so many scammers out there. So when it comes to, look at the red flags. For me, a red flag is going to be someone slipping into my DMs being like, hey girl, your energy is so amazing. I really would want to do a reading for you because, your ancestors and your guides, are trying to get your attention about this thing. I'm like, no, delete and block. Because those are often spoofed accounts. And most people don't have to go out there like, cold calling, soliciting people to do readings for them. That would be a red flag. So knowing and seeing, being able to recognize some of these red flags is going to really help you. And for me, a huge red flag are people who make 100% guarantees of results for their products, for their services, for energy work, for divination, for all this stuff. There is no way to guarantee that. I am sorry. I don't know who needs to hear this. I don't know if it's just a BS marketing tactic of, okay, we put some SEO keywords in and this, that, and the other thing. And now we got guaranteed bulletproof proof results on our Magick and our, whatever the thing is. And some people do float upon their brand names to tout such things. I would just say if they are guaranteeing bulletproof magical results, maybe, the state of the world ain't so great, actually, but look at their lives. I mean, if they are mired in addiction and drama and legal stuff and just more so than the average person would be, look at their lives. I mean, I'm sorry. Am I going to spend $10,000 on a wealth ritual from someone, couch surfing or living in a $200 a month studio apartment? I don't even know if that exists anywhere. That doesn't tell me, so you can't even manifest magic for yourself, and you're telling me you get 100% bulletproof results on your money magic, and you not expecting you to live in a lavish palace, but maybe look like you're not living in your mama's basement. You should be able to do some of the stuff for yourself. Is my life perfect? No. Do I worry about money sometimes? Sure, I'm human. The world is late stage capitalism, y'all. It's great. Being chronically ill and having to fight with health insurance companies all the time. It's great. Inflation. It's not so great, actually. Yeah. So I just wanted to make this video to kind of, because I do get asked this often about, people have questions where they're like trying to get me to say, oh, well, yeah, this will absolutely work, 100% guaranteed results for your situation within the next 8 to 10 days, and I'm like, no, and I say this point blankly, I will never guarantee results on anything, because anyone who does is probably full of shit. Can I guarantee you the sun is going to rise tomorrow? Yeah, technically the sun will rise tomorrow, but it might be a cloudy day. So that said, I've been going for about 40 minutes now. So anyways, I just wanted to give this because I really do try to make a lot of content out for you guys, especially since there are so many scammers out there now. There's so many duplicated accounts. There's so much going on. People hijacking social media and stuff like that, or people just selling you bullshit, literally. Now, I'm not saying don't ever buy a spell or ritual or any of that stuff from people. I do it all the time myself. I just have people I trust, vetted individuals that are not wearing a walking suit of red flags. So I just don't want to see people get burned and walk away from the craft because they think it's all BS. Some of it is. Some people are. There are plenty. There will be a get rich quick scheme no matter where you look. So, anyways. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to click like and subscribe. Sign up for e-newsletter and follow us on social media so you know all of what we're doing. And if you love our content and would like to support us, we do have support tiers on our YouTube membership. So click join below. We have everything from like 99 cents a month to like 10 bucks a month. So if you like seeing our content and want to help support this as we develop more content, in the future, love. Anyways, love you all. Bye.